Alrighty, Duelist Kingdom action, and in this one we have got Bandit Keith taking on the Big Five. The Big Five have been a very interesting opponent for a lot of our contestants. In this one, Bandit Keith, on the other hand, is as smash up as quickly as possible strategy as you can get. Okay, now I am just looking, there is a note written on this one. Doesn't say that there was any errors, but it sounds like our two players trialed something in this one. Well, the speed of the video is the same, so it's not that. It hasn't been sped up. Okay, Shout of Greed starts off for Bandit Keith. And Brave Scissor comes to the field. 1300 to start off for Bandit Keith, although he doesn't have anything else. Slot machine and pendulum machine. There's One Day of Peace. Now, I will go through more comments early on here because I don't anticipate this match going for very long. Moonwolfie says Axel just had too much power for Joey. That was from the Joey and Axel match from last week. As now Cyber Soldier of Dark World, and Keith also has Metal Morph here as well, which is a very good card. Sukowski says, I'm excited for this one. I like the way the Roid decks work. Most of the vehicle Roids have decent effects, but they become powerful when fused, and Yugi has some potential monsters like trap and spell cards, but I feel like Yugi's deck lacks some cohesion. Wonder what's going to happen. That is the big thing with the early anime decks. While they are so good in the anime, if they are not using anime protagonist BS to draw the cards they need, yes, the decks do not have any cohesion at all. But they're still classic, and I guess they always will be. Alright, Cyber Soldier of Dark World in for the attack on Petite Dragon. Wow. Alright, so 13 and 8 is 21, so the Big Five will be down to 5,900. Looking good for Bandit Keith early on. Silas DC says, I agree, I don't need to keep making the Ojama deck. I agree, don't need to keep making the Ojama deck better. And I wouldn't want to see a tournament with Bandit Keith as a main deck. I would just stop watching. Ouch. Poor Bandit Keith. Ironically, who is playing in this match as well. Damn, burn Bandit Keith. Did you hear that, Keith? Nobody wants to watch you as the main protagonist. Even though Bandit Keith had 100% had main character syndrome throughout the entire anime. Completely unwarranted confidence, stole star chips off of Bones, Zygor, and whatever the other dude's name was, I don't know. Okay, 7 completed, attached to slot machine. So very anime-esque of Bandit Keith here. Cyber Soldier of Dark World in for the attack, and 2,700 is going to come off the Big Five again, who have played only Petite Dragon. They've still got 6 cards in their hand, but they are getting absolutely thumped in this first match. Okay, ooh, Offerings to the Doomed. Still Metal Morph on the field as well, which is a big advantage for Bandit Keith. And wow, the Big Five have not played anything else down. That is super bizarre. They must have an absolute brick hand then. 1,400 and 850 will end the match. Super anticlimactic. But this one is over already. The Big Five barely... Oh, what happened there? Blocker in. Oh, they flipped the perspective. Oh, okay, it's the same match. They flipped the perspective. I thought this was the start of the second match and something had gone wrong, but okay, so our players decided to show us what was in the Big Five's hand. And it's no wonder they couldn't play anything, because they had high-level monsters. They had Megamorph and Rush Recklessly. If they had a 4-star monster, which they have plenty of, they could have absolutely thumped Keith and came back. But wow, so brick hand. But one that was full of potential. But the big 5, they're a tricky deck to create. It's gone very heavily off that video game arc with maybe their deck leaders from the virtual arc with Noah. So it's not like the big 5 have really followed the virtual arc. They've followed the video game world more than anything, which that's why their deck is a little bit all over the place. Ground attacker Bugroth starts off for Keith, so he's up 1-0. But just remember, Keith, it's like if you're the main character, people are turning you off. You're the mid-carder. As much as he wants to be in the main event, Bandit Keith is the mid-carder. Cyber Falcon has come to the field for Bandit Keith. Even so, even at one point, a Bandit Keith vs Battle City series probably will happen at some point on the channel. Of course, I'd like to do everyone versus Battle City at some point, including GX characters. We did Jaden versus Battle City, and that was really, really good. We did Tanya versus Battle City, one of the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX characters who uses the Amazon S deck, and we had to nerf that deck because it was cakewalking everything. Now, the big 5 do have Megamorph again. They've just summoned Armored Zombie. There goes Cyber Falcon. Keith, no, sorry, not Keith. The big 5 taking some time here. Keith has activated Time Machine. The big 5 did see that because Arm Ninja did flip it up with its effect. But if Keith has brought that back, he must have something to tribute in his hand then. Otherwise, he wouldn't have played it. He wouldn't have played Time Machine. Ah, there we go. So it is the slot machine again. Jackpot for Bandit Keith. Does he have 7 completed again? No, he's gone in for the attack. Negate attack activated. So the big 5, they're actually going to get a win here because the Black Dragon Jungle King, well, not a win of the match, we don't know that yet, but I mean as in a win of the field is what I'm referring to. So the Black Dragon Jungle King is now being summoned. Will the big 5 equip it with Megamorph? It'll put it to 4,200, but then it will be halved straight away. The big 5 have not played Megamorph, and it's probably the better option, to be honest. Demi Henning says, great match and that damn Mirror Force. I watched Zoe 101, great series. Cyrus, what a troll move, and wow, what an ending. Also, Yugi is probably like, oh my god, with a little bike, I lose to that. Demi Henning, did you watch Zoe 102, the movie that came out a couple of years ago? At least I think it was a couple of years ago. But it was like, sort of like a, kind of like an epilogue kind of movie. It was like, the movie wasn't like terrible, but it wasn't like the only people who would enjoy the movie are the people who watched Zoe 101. Like you'd have to have been a fan of the original series to actually enjoy the movie. But it wasn't a bad movie, it was just not really that memorable either. But it was very nostalgic to watch that movie and see them all as like adults. But they didn't have they didn't have Lola in it, or Victoria Justice. I would have really liked to have seen Lola in it, but they didn't. They didn't get it for it. As Mask of Weakness activated by Keith now. And it's only tank T34, so Keith doing everything he can to protect his side of the field right now. The big 5 still have less life points, so Megamorph's effect can still come into play here as well. And, oh, Keith with a tribute. It is Giant Mech Soldier. Feels like Bandit Keith is punching a bit above his weight limit right now. The Black Dragon Jungle King can still destroy the Giant Mech Soldier. There's Yamadron. Alright, Yamadon comes to the field in exchange for the that fried chicken in Niwatori. Oh, and the big five have played Megamorph. We've equipped it to Yamadron. Okay, this must be a life point play. Bandit Keith, he only has 2 cards in hand. Giant Mech Soldier destroyed. The big five must think, well, if he's summoning Giant Mech Soldier, he mustn't have much else. 2750 for Keith. He is now in striking range of losing the rest of his life points. There's 3 cards in hand for Keith. Can he get anything back? Battle Footballer would be very handy right now. But no, just a face down spell or trap. There's Gamma Sword Oath. And now Yamadron, which was halved, is now tributed, comes to the field. And this could be it for Bandit Keith, who still has 2 cards in his hand. Direct attack by the Deep Sea Warrior. Keith down to 1150. And the Black Dragon Jungle King has... Oh, okay, if they flipped it again. Oh, Zoa and Metal Zoa. Okay, that's what Keith had in his hand. I don't hate that. I actually quite like that they did that, because it shows us the quality of the brick that was in the hand. Well, so that's 1 win for Keith, that's 1 win for the big five, so bonus points are off the table, but now the season point is going to be decided in this tiebreaker. Mech Warrior 141 says, from my understanding in general, things in Australia are more expensive than they are in much of the rest of the world. That being said, there has been a noticeable rise across the board when it comes to fast food prices. Even here in the US, fast food is no longer a good economic decision. Everything is expensive in Australia. I think in the top 20 most expensive cities, I think 5 of Australia's capital cities hit that top 20 list, which is quite concerning as well. Stop defense activated. And oh, Castle of Dark Illusions. That's a great stop defense play by Bandit Keith. Emperor Pikachu says, poor Alexis, but great win for Tristan. I forgot to mention before that we celebrate Thanksgiving for the pilgrims who came over from England and settled and founded our 13 colonies before we became the United States. And great match from that was Alexis and Tristan's match. Okay, turn change, Brave Scissor. If I remember correctly, I think Emperor Pikachu does study in like ancient history and something like that. If I remember correctly, as well. So great historical fact with that Thanksgiving one as well. I'm always down for that as well. I always love watching random fact videos. It's always like, I don't know what's so appealing about it. It's just like the quest for knowledge is so enticing. Alright, Blackland Fire Dragon destroys Brave Scissor, and another 1500 going to come off Keith here. He does have Battle Football though, he's got Blocker. He does have some options here. Alright, Emperor Pikachu says, LOL, only Cyrus, but Yugi is still on the win streak. What a great match. And Super Palco says, all fast food restaurants are getting way too expensive. Saxpack Ab says, bro now thinking about eating Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Karibo nuggets for dinner. Whoa. I wonder what a Karibo would taste like. Probably not good, because Karibos explode. So, so probably not great. Alright, One Day of Peace. I reckon Moki Moki would taste like a marshmallow. And then there's Marshmallow as well. I don't even like marshmallows. Anyway. Alright, Bandit Keith draws Zoa. Ooh, okay. It's got another defensive unit here as well in Battle Footballer. So we could be seeing Zoa. Keith does have Slot Machine as well, but obviously Zoa's a bit better. Glenn Devo says, Zoe, 101 was my fave. That theme song gives me a nostalgic feeling. That was, it was a good theme, that one too. Same with the iCarly theme, that was real fun. Drake and Josh as well, that had a wicked theme. So did Victorious. In fact, all their theme songs were really good. They were all memorable. In fact, the Victorious series had some really good music as well. I mean, that was sort of the basis of the show, but there were some real good songs from that. Alright, Zoa's on the field, 2600. Divine Dragon Ragnarok is destroyed. The big five down to 5320. They're still close on life points, mind you, but get the feeling that Keith might be starting to get ahead on this one, especially with that Zoa on the field. Jer2333 says, that last combo at the end of game 2 could be totally broken, although it's easier said than done to have all the right cards in place. And Saxpack Abs says, I thought Australia Day was like Thanksgiving. It's a discovery of your country. You know what? I think that might actually be right. I think that is actually correct. Australia Day is basically our Thanksgiving. Yeah, 26th of January is when Australia Day is. So yeah, that might actually have something to do with like when the English first came over here. I probably should know, but I'm pretty sure that is actually right what Saxpack Habs is saying with Australia Day and Thanksgiving. Alright, there goes Armored Zombie. And the face down attacked, it's Kurama. Tell you what, it looks like Bandit Keith is going to pick up this third match, but still anything can happen. Kodos Kopos says, boy were you hungry this episode. That was for Alexis and Tristan. And Jonathan Priestley says, wow, Tristan beat Alexis 2-1, didn't see that coming. And Kodos Kopos says, I can tell that this is still a journey where we all learn about how to actually play the game. Yeah, I have learnt so much about Yu-Gi-Oh! And how the cards actually work to how I thought they worked by owning digital format of the game. There is so much I got wrong as a kid, it's not funny. Mystical Space Typhoon is one of those best examples, is that it doesn't actually stop the activation of magic cards. You can still use Mystical Space Typhoon on it, but it doesn't actually negate the activation. 2600 off the big five. You gotta say this is Keith's, but if Keith loses Zoa, he doesn't have anything else to summon. Oh, Monster Reborn. I don't think there's really that much to reborn. Black Dragon Jungle King though has been selected, but Magic Jammer. Well done by Bandit Keith. Perfect card at the right time. SEH292 says, large bag of chips. They used to be at least 80% full. Now it's a large bag with 50% full. Speaking of bags of chips. So, oh man. I have a story and a half about the weekend, but I haven't actually told it in either one of these duels. You know what? I'll tell it tomorrow. The story and a half of my weekend. It's a questionable one. I'll definitely describe it like that, but one of the things I saw on the weekend was a bag of chips, which was priced at $8 at a servo, which is like a gas station, what you would call it in America. We call them servos. But $8 for a bag of potato chips, and I was like, you know what? That is not going to happen. I bought 2 of them today at Woolworths for $6. 2 bags for $6. 1 bag, same product at this servo, $8. That is, oh, Nightmare Penguin. Oh, but it had to send Blast Juggler back because of the Big Five's life points. If the Big Five drew that Nightmare Penguin a bit earlier, this could have been a very different game. Like I say, anything can happen in Yu-Gi-Oh! At any given moment. Blast Juggler down, and are there any other comments. None for All, which is a new name that's popped up as well. I don't really want to hypercharge Chaz's deck. I just want him to get some cards to help balance everything out after all. As Keith picks up the win. The Big Five ran out of options, but it was still a good competitive match though. To finish up that comment, I feel the Chaz cards, they didn't fit in his battle strategy. I would love for the VW Catapult to be added. But what Chaz really lacks is a way to use his Ojamas more effectively. I think round 16, I reckon we might spice that up a bit. I'll have a look at Ojama cards to see if there's any that won't break his deck and make him too unbeatable, but enough to make him more cohesive. There are a few more comments. There's actually quite a few comments. I am going to mark the ones I didn't get through, and I'm going to go through them tomorrow as well because there's quite a bit. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in. Well, if Bandit Keith could have a bit longer, although he went for about 20 minutes. That's actually quite long for a Bandit Keith match. Well, the Big Five and Bandit Keith has concluded, so Bandit Keith has won 2-1. Tomorrow's matches, I should be able to get through 2 because I don't need to be at the film and TV studio tomorrow. So I should be able to get through 2 on a Tuesday, which has become a rarity. Oh, Marek and Bastion, that should be good. And Rebecca and Don Zalug, who are scheduled for tomorrow. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in. And thanks for leaving all the comments wherever you are in the world. Stay safe. Take care. Farewell.